You good? Thank you. This is the May 15th, 2023 meeting of the Surry County Board of Commissioners. We welcome your attendance and thank you for being here tonight. At this time, I'll call the meeting to order and ask Commissioner Larry Johnson to deliver our invocation and our pledge.
You're able to stand. Thank you. Our Father in heaven, as we come to thee in humble prayer this evening, wish to thank thee, Father in heaven, for this opportunity that we have together as Surry County Board of Commissioners. We're thankful that we're able to arrive in safety. We're thankful for our health and our strength. We're thankful for this great country and state and county. We pray, Father in heaven, that that during this meeting, we can discuss the affairs that are pertinent to Surry County, that we'll be able to make a good decision. We're so thankful for those who work for the county. Bless them and all their endeavors. We ask that I will bless those that protect us, those that volunteer for us, and help us all to keep thy word. And if we can keep thy commandments, we know this whole world, and especially Surry County, can be a better place. These things we ask and pray in Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, gentlemen, you have your agenda. What is your pleasure?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Motion, Commissioner Goins, to approve tonight's agenda. Do I have a second? Second, Commissioner Johnson. Any discussion, gentlemen? All those in favor, aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. And the agenda is approved. Also, you have your meeting minutes from the 27th of April and the 1st of May. What is your pleasure?
Motion to approve minutes from April 27th and May 1st, 2023.
I have a motion, Commissioner Marion, to approve the meeting minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Commissioner Goins. Any discussion, gentlemen? All those in favor, aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, and those meeting minutes are approved. Chris Knopf, General County Manager, for the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First item is the Tax Department end-of-month summaries, charges, and reports. Next, there's a request from Parks and Recreation for levels for disc golf sponsorships on a new course at Fisher River Park. Next is a request to accept and spend opioid abatement funding from Partners Behavioral Health. Next is a position classification plan change to eliminate a position in the Sheriff's Office. It's unfilled. And finally, budget amendment number 11, which deals with a Health Department grant. And that's all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I will make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented by County Manager Chris Knopf.
I have a motion, Commissioner Tucker, to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second? Second, Commissioner Goins. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and the consent is approved. Okay, at this time, I'll open the open forum portion of our meeting tonight. Anyone wishing to come forward with anything pertinent to the government of Surry County or its citizens, please do so at this time. State your name and your telephone number. Thank you, Mr. Zelsick.
Joe Zalesic, 336-415-5018. I'm here representing the Surry County Farmers Market Board and wanted to give an update on the market season. We appreciate the partnership we have with the county, with the Dobson Market. That market is going to open on May 23rd. It's a Tuesday morning market from 10 to 1. We've already opened Mount Airy and Elkin. Mount Airy is a Friday morning market downtown at the post office. And Larry Johnson comes by just about every week to pick up the mail, but says, hey, at the peanut stand. So
Every once in a while gives me something free.
Some vendors.
some vendors. But I just, representing the board, we want to come out and continue to update county, city officials about what we're doing. The last few years have been very difficult, as you know, with COVID. Personally, I started my business when COVID hit 3 years ago and had no place to sell our peanuts or peanut butter. And finally, when we opened, later that summer, things started to come along great. Now we have a record amount of vendors. We are now turning away people as far as sellers are concerned. We are full up in Mount Airy and full up in Elkin. And when we open Dobson, I'm sure we're going to be full over there. So we have about 40 vendors. They don't always come every week, but throughout the county, we have people that make items, bake items, grow items, and process items. We don't allow any kind of reselling of any tchotchkes from China. Everything at the market is Surry County or 50-mile radius. We have farmers from Yak and other counties. So I welcome all of you to come out, see our crafters, our farmers. We have, a variety of meat vendors now, and we appreciate the partnership and everything you've done for the Dobson market. We've struggled over there over the years, but we're gonna bring it back, and it's going to be good this year, I guarantee it. So it's my pleasure to come here today and give you a quick update. And I still got 30 seconds.
Thank you.
Joe, I have a question for you.
Okay.
I like the way you've arranged this year, as far as you're in the backside of it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's gonna better serve you.
Yeah, there's some safety issues at Mount Airy.
Yeah.
And when I first got on the board and saw the Mount Airy setup, I was just shocked because people drove through the market
Yeah,
with their vehicles. I'm an old fireman and I'm always about safety. So we worked with the city on a better solution where we were on the backside, and actually there's more parking in the front now. So, and we're able to put 26 vendors in there. So,
like what you,
yeah, thank you. And we look forward to seeing you next Friday.
sir.
Thank you much. Anyone else?
Good evening, fellas. My name is Alan Poindexter. Number is 336-648-9432. And the reason I'm coming here today is to speak with y'all because we got a big issue here in Surry County as far as, for lack of a better term, slumlords. And me and my wife and everything, I hate to admit this publicly because I'm trying to provide for her the best I can, and she's trying to provide for me the best I can. And we reached out to our landlord about fixing some issues, mold, asbestos, which has been tested for, holes in the wall, electrical issues that's just practically about to, burn our place down. So I reached out to him on 3 different occasions. He would never do nothing about it. And so I said, well, I got to think about what my options are. Well, I reached out to Mark, and I greatly appreciate Mark for what he's been helping me with and talking to me about and everything. And ever since then, we was on a lease. Well, now, since we brought this up, we got in contact with the inspection department, which we had the report right here. They said that the inspection totally failed. I mean, it was just, it was not livable. It should not, nobody should be living in those conditions. So I called and talked to the inspection department. They came in, did the report, and I got the report right here if y'all want to see it by chance. And it shows where it failed. And then I talked to the Department of Health and Human Services. And they said that the landlord is supposed to provide, livable, habitable living conditions. And also another thing is, it started back last winter, and we asked them to fix our central air unit, which he would never replace. And since then, and I've talked to several electricians that's got, statements that they're gonna provide for us, that they say when you use emergency heat, it puts an extra strain on your power and your power bill goes up. Well, last year we got a bill for 14, 15. It's like $1,400 to $1,500. And we got a statement and everything every year, and it says that our bill is 99% higher than everybody else in around our area. So right now, I'm in the works of talking with the State Senator Eddie Settle, the Department of Health and Human Services, legal aid, and I'd like to talk to y'all and everything to see if y'all would all, if we could all, or some of us and everything, get together to put more strengths and make these landlords more accountable for their actions and everything. And that's what I got to say. And y'all would like to see some of these pictures. And I know y'all's hands are tied to a degree, but I think if we get the state senator involved and some of y'all involved, and possibly the county manager, maybe we can all work out a solution, because it's not just us that's dealing with this. I've got a petition up now and everything. I think I got like 160 some people that's dealing with the same issue, if not worse. But our lawyer told us, says it's nothing against Surry County, but Surry County and North Carolina in general is a landlord-friendly state. And I just like to work with y'all if y'all would like to work with me, because I'm already, like I said, in the works with talking to Eddie Settle and talking with the Department of Health and Human Services. And I'd like to work with y'all also to see what we can do to show these landlords to be more held accountable and not evict somebody just because they complain to the inspection department. And that's just what I gotta say. And if y'all would like to talk more, or if y'all have any questions, I'd be glad to answer any of them for you.
Thank you, Mr. Poindexter.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Alan, is that black mold?
Yes, sir, it is. Black mold and asbestos. And I'm not in good health as it is, and that just don't help matters. And wife with her health, anything is just, it's not cool. Would y'all like to see the report from the inspection department by chance?
You can provide it to the county staff if you'd like to, and they'll share it with us for sure.
Okay. I just need it back whenever, if that's okay. Who you said with?
Um,
But I would like, like I said, I would like to see if we can all do that.
Yeah, and you can get this back here, your picture as well, so.
Yeah.
And you can email that to the county staff too. Once they give it back to you, email them a hard copy of it.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank y'all.
I'd be happy to make a copy.
Okay. Oh, there you go. Thanks, y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for open forum? Okay, I'll close the open forum portion of our meeting and we'll move right on to our county manager, Mr. Chris Canal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First item is about a temporary closure at the Low Gap Recycling Center. Jessica, would you just like to give them an update on the project that's upcoming that's going to require the closure?
The Low Gap Recycling Center is having some drainage issues that's causing the concrete to basically fail. So the drivers are having to hit the wall basically when they're putting the dumpsters in. It's just not a good condition. It's dangerous. And it just needs to be basically re-poured. In order to do that and for concrete to get its strength, we're going to have to close it for about a week to let the concrete settle. Hopefully weather will cooperate and it won't have to be any longer than that. But it's set up for May the 22nd, the week of May 22nd, right before Memorial Day, and we'll reopen the Tuesday after Memorial Day is the plan. Signs have been posted at the center. And then, of course, we'll have the other centers open so they can use those.
Will you have signage up there, I guess, directing them to, or,
Warning them.
yeah,
Yeah, we've already posted signs there, just letting them know that it'll be closed that week and the other centers will be open, and to call the landfill with numbers, with questions. And we'll direct them probably to North Surry or wherever, another one that they want to use.
the nearest one is the North Surrey one, is that the nearest one?
Probably the most convenient. I mean, it could be Dobbs. It depends on where they're going. Yeah.
Okay.
But we have 12 others, so they'll hopefully be okay.
All right.
We hate to shut it down. We just, in order to get it fixed correctly, we feel like we need to.
Those guys working at the Low Gap, would they be moved to like?
They will, probably what I'll do is I'll get them to still come by and just check, because you know what happens typically when we close a center. They'll just throw it out at the gate. So even though there'll be people there, I'll probably get them just to ride by and check. They all live local and do not want to work at another center. So they'll just get a week off.
Be a lot more on, like North Surrey. That one, be a lot more people coming to it, so will they be fed up with any? Maybe run both of them while it's down, while the Low Gap's down.
I think,
Compacted.
I think it'll be fine either way. If we have to just go pick up another load, we might have to pick up another truckload. But typically, we're okay through the week. The busiest day, of course, is Saturday and Monday. So we should be good. Thank you.
Jessica, Mr. Chairman, can I ask another question? I read over your report from where you was at the landfill, and you got a good report. Is that correct on
Yes.
everything?
Yes, we got a great report from the state inspector. Everything,
That's right.
he couldn't say anything negative. So
Great.
that is really, really good. And the staff does an amazing job of keeping the place clean. It looks really good. They've worked extra hard.
What did you say they're gonna, the state is gonna start testing in the landfill this coming year?
It's called PFAS. It's forever chemicals.
Plastic.
That's like that paper that wraps up.
Non-stick, weather-resistant clothing, non-stick pans, the wax paper that your cheeseburgers come in. It's everywhere and has been for years, but now they're gonna check it at the landfill, and of course, it's there.
Put it on the side of the road.
Mm-hmm. Well, now we're picking that up, so it's in the landfill.
You give an update on that real quick?
Yeah, that's going really well. He, Ben Puckett has been doing a really good job, and his staff on picking up the trash, and he says that he gets thank yous from the community when he's out there. And I can tell, I don't know if you can, by just driving through, that somebody's out there picking it up.
Just, I just, took me a great big old long ball trip. I traveled 6,300 miles. And it was wonderful to come back in Surry County, and the roads I usually travel, they was just as nice, right now. So I'm glad Mr. Puckett and Surry County and you're keeping them wherever they need to be. It's good. I'm not getting any phone calls either, so all right.
That's really good.
Compliments.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, only other item I have is to follow up on part of the Invest in Surrey program. I dropped a updated spreadsheet off at each of your spots, but it goes along with the attachment B in my items. So the board approved $309,627 within Invest in Surrey in the broadband category for any successful great grant applications. Now, this was at the beginning of Invest in Surrey. When the awards came out from the North Carolina Department of Information Technology, because the great grants are broadband grants at the state level. And what strengthens a private sector entity's broadband grant application is any local match that may be part of it. That's why we originally knew we had 4 applicants coming for parts of Surry County. So we agreed to match each of them if they were awarded, and that's where the $309,627 figure came from. However, only one was awarded, as you may recall, that was Zytel, and their match was $79,751.89. We're still waiting on contract implementation on that one, but we are committed. What was left over was $229,875. And of course, that money, because it wasn't used for match, was absorbed in other areas of the Invest in Surrey program. The state has come out recently and said that they have found an additional $140 million to put into the Great Grant Program. And they're basically going to go back and look at the applications they did not fund in that initial round. So they're not, I'm not 100% sure on this. I don't think they're accepting new applications. So we're basically just bringing it back because each of those entities, and on the second page of attachment B, there's a spreadsheet there from Denise Brown. As you can see in the green column there, that's Zytel, that's the one that was awarded. There were three others that were not awarded: Surrey Communications, Charter Communications, which is Spectrum, and Connect Holding 2 LLC, which is Brightspeed and CenturyLink. So those applications will be reconsidered. They're being reconsidered as we speak by the state. And so each of those entities, along with the NCDIT, would like to know if the county has any plans to match. And that will give them additional information to consider. We don't have to. It's completely up to the board's discretion. If you were going to match, we would have to go back to our Invest in Surrey program here and try to determine where we might pull those match dollars from to potentially cover. So it's basically just being brought back to your attention to see if there's any action the board would like to take.
We don't have any Invest in Surrey funds remaining since we did the last 200,000 to the Shepherd's House. Is that correct?
You're correct. There's nothing that's, unencumbered, so to speak. You'd have to, really the only thing you have that's potentially something you could dip into, once again, is that water and sewer fund. We are waiting. Tomorrow we have the bid opening for the health department renovation. So we'll get a sense if we're going to need any additional funds there. I don't think we'll need that entire 1.8 million, but timing isn't great. It'd be better to have that bid opening first. But by the time we get together June 5th, it may be too late to provide any feedback if the board wanted to provide a local match.
Well, I've been a big proponent of broadband and expanding it to areas of the county that have been traditionally underserved, which means the rural areas. And I don't know how we do this, but I would be in favor of committing. So you're talking what, 332,822, and then a 10,000 and a 50,000. Is that right? According to your spreadsheet?
So the match amounts are, yes, in that green center column. And that's what they've requested. That's what the companies have requested. So, what you could do is you could, maybe at this point, one option would be to say, yes, we want to provide a match. The likelihood that all three are approved, very slim. Just like last time, we might get one, maybe two at best, if any. And then maybe you could come back later and determine how you're going to pay for it.
Well, when this board laid out the Invest in Surrey priorities for us as a county, I think expanding broadband was real important. And I think in light of, what's transpired in the country, I think it's even more important to have broadband in as many places as we can get it. And I think it's a good use of public monies, and especially those Invest in Surrey monies. So this commissioner would be in favor of making a commitment to provide some additional funding for that. I don't know that we can take formal action tonight, can we? Or, because we would have to change some of these numbers here. Is that correct?
You could commit to the local match for anything that's awarded and then determine how you want to handle it and Invest in Surrey.
How do we determine the extent of that local match?
Well,
how about a potential of how much local match? How can we determine that?
you have, if all three were awarded, it'd be $392,822.62.
And out of the $229,875 that remains in invest in Surrey, there's most of that's been,
It was redistributed to other projects,
and so there's essentially none of that left.
not in the unencumbered, but you have the ability to move any number on here that's in black type. That it hasn't started.
Commissioner Johnson.
Mr. Chairman, we've already invested over $1.7 million already in broadband.
Mm-hmm.
And most of that went to Surrey Communications, is that correct?
Yes, we did our local project, and then the Zytel project is lumped in there as well.
Well, my question is, how far did that go?
We originally had, I believe, and I'll check with Denise tomorrow, but originally we had about $2 million in that category. And so but we only needed 1.77 for those two projects.
Well, I'm just saying, you got typed here last mile for underserved areas, Low Gap, Mountain Park, Shoals, State Road. I mean, did we get into any of those with
That's
this
what
1.7 million?
Oh, yes,
All right, so that
all of
was,
those areas.
I'd like to know how far we've gone, and then we've already matched, what was this other company's name?
Zytel.
Zytec, we've already committed to them. Will they take on areas that's not,
Their areas are underserved in the Mount Airy area.
in the Mount Airy area?
Yeah, and these applications here, if they're awarded, and the state deems them to be in underserved areas as well.
Well, I'd still like a question answered, how far have we gone with what we've already projected? I mean, what we've already committed to.
Those projects are gonna be,
And I agree I want them to have it.
Right,
How
I
far have we
understand.
gone?
I understand. I guess it's just where we want to put our priorities. I mean, I don't,
the other two projects that we funded already touch all these areas, including some areas around Mount Airy. These additional projects will also be in these same areas, because we're not covering everything that's underserved.
Well, I got hooked up today.
Oh, well, good.
They actually came to my home and hooked up my
yes, sir.
high-speed internet today.
Seeing which companies get awarded.
Mhm.
And then come back and we figure out, I mean, the water and sewer hasn't been started yet, and
Would be too late, Chris? We get these health department bids in? I mean, could this board, and Ed, I don't know, maybe you have to answer this question. Could this board say, direct county staff to, make the commitment contingent upon the health department bids, coming in at a reasonable number? Because obviously that's tomorrow.
Mhm.
And with a commitment to, initially, we had put $2 million into broadband expansion, correct?
Initially, that was our number.
And we're still short of that, but I mean, I just think broadband's important to get to areas that's probably never going to get it. I mean, I know there's a lot of important stuff, and I'm not picking on any of the other priorities that anyone else has had for sure, but, I don't know, is that something we can do, Ed? Can this,
Chris, when will we know, when the other companies are awarded or not?
Probably in the next few weeks.
It may be better, I mean, there's so many loose ends out there. We have three companies that we don't know what will be awarded anything or not.
exactly.
If we're going to match anything, we sort of need to know what we're gonna match. So I would prefer to suggest to you guys to recess if the next regular meeting is not gonna be timely, then pick a date to recess this meeting to address that. And by that date, you would need to know which other companies have received awards.
I would hate to, I'm all about expanding these, projects as well, and certainly I know fiber and broadband is important. I am a little reluctant to not know what the amount that we're going to obligate ourselves to, kind of like getting the cart before the horse here.
Well,
We don't know what the match is going to be unless we decide, hey, we're not going to spend over this much.
Well,
X
we
amount of
know,
dollars.
we know right here. I mean, all three of these may not be awarded, but the high number
Yeah.
would be 392.
Yeah.
I mean-
And if we don't give NCDIT an answer one way or the other, you know, let's say we don't give them, let's say we tell them we're not gonna match, that will affect how they look at those
Yeah.
reapplications. So like I said earlier, the timing's terrible. It's the meeting's one day too soon. You know, the meeting were tomorrow, we would know about the health department. which is,
Okay, when would be the drop dead date in your estimation for this board to make some kind of decision on that?
Denise? Yeah, you'll have to come up there.
The only decision you guys would have to make tonight is whether you would entertain a match. You will be able to determine what the match is. So even though that says 392, let's say Surrey Communications, which is the higher, is awarded, this board could come back and say you're going to match at $50,000. The only thing the state is giving points for is some match. So it doesn't have to be all the match, it can be some match. So
Okay.
you just need to decide that tonight and leave the money till later. We have time on the money if they're awarded.
That clarifies a whole lot.
Yeah, that
Thank you.
changes the game for me.
Um,
I think we ought to, I would be willing to go ahead and approve some match. Now, I mean, you know, if it's not, if we don't have to put a name on it or a label on it, I mean, could we have any action, Ed, that would obligate us to be able to participate in some fashion?
I think you can make that motion and I would put a ceiling on it for the 392 or whatever the
Mhm.
figure is.
All right.
And then that allows you the flexibility to
Yep.
not.
to fall in under that. Mhm. Well, gentlemen, Mark, I'm looking for a consensus
I'll make a motion
or commotion.
that we entertain or actually take action to say that we are going to match some or all of these grants that were awarded but not to exceed that amount of 392,000.
Okay, I have a motion, Commissioner Tucker,
Second.
a second, Commissioner Goins. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Okay,
That's all we have, and we do not have a request for closed.
that's great.
All right, looking for a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Motion, Commissioner Tucker. Second, Commissioner Goins. Any discussion? All those in favor, aye. Well, excuse me. We didn't do general county business. I'm sorry, gentlemen, before, we've got discussion.
I've already said aye.
We've got, all right,
I'm good.
opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you.